Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on this journey of 21 days of prayer and fasting. And today we want to kind of lean into the topic of spiritual awakening. And sometimes in our culture, challenging circumstances often heighten our awareness and need for God and the hope that only He can provide. And so we're kind of praying that we don't waste this opportunity in this crazy year of 2020 leading into 2021, that these challenging circumstances would really heighten our awareness of the presence of God and our need to be in His presence. Isaiah, in chapter 6 of Isaiah walks into the temple in just kind of a similar circumstance. King Uzziah has just died. The country is kind of uncertain as to how it's going to go, and he comes in to pray much like he would every week, and then has this incredible encounter with God where he sees God seated on a throne, high and lifted up, train of His robe filling His temple, and the seraphim are flying around Him, crying out to one another, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." The whole earth is full of His glory. The temple is shaking, it's filling with smoke. It's this overwhelming encounter. And then Isaiah, in that moment, as he's seeing God in all of His holiness, seeing God in all of His glory, becomes very aware of who He is in light of that overwhelming presence. And he says in verse 5, he says, "Woe is me, for I'm ruined. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and now my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." Isaiah is awakened to the presence of God in a way that he had never encountered Him before. He's awakened to a new reality that he needs God's grace, mercy, and forgiveness in a way that he had never experienced it before. And in that moment, as he encounters this living God and all of His glory, all of His holiness, he finds out that this maker of heaven and earth, this King seated on a throne, majestic and powerful, didn't reveal Himself to destroy Isaiah, but to redeem him and restore him and bring him to life so that Isaiah then could be sent to others that need to be awakened to the presence of God. So we want to pray just here in this moment for a couple of things, that God would reveal Himself like this to many people, that they would be awakened to a new reality in the presence of God. And as they are awakened, that they would see their need for Him, to see their need for forgiveness for sin, and that God is there to restore them and forgive them of all that sin. And then that they would take that story of transformation that God has brought about in their life and share it with others who need to have an encounter with Jesus. We're praying that God will awaken people all over our country, all over our world, and that a movement would begin with this new wave of spiritual awakening. Thanks for joining us.